Yep. It's parked at Torside. £5.50. Grief. Prices have gone up dramatically. But it is what it is, and it's you pay by card. I had to scratch around and getting all cash together, and then I went to machine, and it ain't doing cash, so it's pay by card or pay by phone app. It's a route and a video I've done before, to be fair, so it's like a redo. Possibly a bit more drone footage on this one, but it's not one I've done for about 7 years. So time for a revisit, I think, especially it can be a cracking day. Up through these woods, drop into the Clough, up the scramble. That puts me onto the very northern end of Wildboar Clough and Sykes Moor. So I'm going to then cut about half a mile from the top of the Clough into Sykes Moor, pick up the Blenheim wreck, then from there carry on sort of south to intercept the Pennine way, and then follow the Pennine way back around, and that'll bring me back along that ridge up there. That's Torside Clough. Up the staircase. The path seems a lot more established now than it ever was, so I've not been up here for about 7 years. It's probably a bit more popular now. Decisions. I'll take the low path. In theory, gets me into the Clough. A bit lower down. A decent scramble, so I may as well make the most of it. Ta-da! Wildboar Clough. It's like this, pretty much all the way. So I get down there, and so it begins. And it's all good fun. I like this pretty much all the way. So I just gotta pick your way up through the rocks. It's going to be a warm one. I think we've got a bit of a mini heatwave forecast for this week. The more technical pictures are around the corner. There's probably 3, 4, where there's a little bit of a 3 points of contact climb. I say it should be not too bad today with it being dry, and it'll no or little water coming over, so it shouldn't be too bad. But obviously winter months gets a little bit more technical, because all these rocks are slippy with moss, and on the technical pictures then the also wet, very wet, there's flowing water running over it, very mossy where it's been impacting, and you're trying to climb up. So that's a little bit more sketchy. It's all doable obviously, but it all depends on your abilities, I suppose. Bit of terrain, none of this white peak stuff. No cows on this route. Rocks are starting to get a bit more mossy up here, but grip's okay so far. Just pay a bit more attention, I suppose. Not take it for granted. Yep, still on Wildboar Clough. Pretty much just had several like mini stops along the way. But first sort of sit down there a minute, just took bag off a couple of minutes, had a drink, rehydrate a bit, and that's it. So it's starting to get a bit steeper up. I'll say that's the actual top up there, so I've got to gain that altitude in around this corner and up. So the more technical pictures are coming up ahead. These are all right up here, and then so it gets a bit more involved a bit further up. So yeah, that's your first technical section. The rest of it's just a boulder. Alright, that's your 3 technical pictures. With this last one, you can go up the right hand side, or you can come up the left hand side, which is a bit of a chimney. So that's the way I just come up the left hand side. Probably that's a bit easier. A few more of these little 6-foot pictures, and then we break out the top. Approaching the top of Wildboar Clough. So it's getting a little bit moister. Just make sure I didn't catch the lenses on that. So it's flattening out. Just follow the stream bed up to fence line up there. Go up over that fence line. There should be a couple of stiles up there on the right, which are going to put me onto Sykes Moor. So that's where I'm going, over to the Blenheim. When I get to the top of here and break out, I think there's a path that goes along the perimeter there. So if it is from memory, I'll drop the bag, just take the drone over and see if we can fly up the entire length of Wildboar Clough. Is the plan. I'm back. Put that on now. I'm on plateau. While they're in there, are supposedly reasonably sheltered. Probably not, to be fair. Get sunburnt. Got me factor 50 on, so we'll see how we go. Alright, so we're at the top of Wildboar Clough. So got out here a bit back. I ditched the bag. Just took the drone over, so I walked back along like a perimeter path what goes over to the nib over there. So I could get an overview all the way down the clough, so I put the drone down and back up, so that should be good hopefully. So we're basically on Clough, but then that's sort of partitioned off into different little sections, so we're just coming up onto Sykes Moor off on my right, and that's where I'm heading. So about 500 metres across the moor is the Blenheim wreck. Yeah, so that away, 472 metres. Yeah, top of Wildboar Clough. There's Home Moss TV mast. So there you've got Pennine Way where it carries on up there. So Crowden's at the bottom of that. That sort of takes you up to Laddo Rocks over, and then up to Black Hill. And then on this bit area up behind this nib is Hay Edge. So the trig point's just below there. Manchester over in the horizon. Tint Whistle Nar, so I say that Lancaster, 2 Hurricanes, Lightning, and a bit further over the other side is Chipmunk. It's all off piste, this section. No real trails as such. There is a bit more of a trail coming to the Blenheim from the Pennine Way than there ever used to be. That was pretty much like this when I first started hunting, about 300 metres. I should walk into the Blenheim. It's in a clough like that, so you don't see it until you're on it. And then from there carry on south to intersect the Pennine Way. 150 metres, 130 metres I think it was, sorry. Should intersect the debris for the Blenheim. Here we go. Sykes Moor. I'll just come over there from top of Wildboar Clough over that scrubland. Basically that all the way around effectively. But where that gets you is here. The crash site of the Blenheim. Crashed 1939, 30th of January 1939. This has all been up here. Just like the top debris field, and there's more coming up below with engines and a bit more substantial. So I've been coming up to this one probably 12 years. It always used to be a, heather hop all the way along, same as the one I've just sort of done there. There's no trails coming from that way usually, but it always just about 500 metres that way is the Pennine way, so you just have to, I say, hop along, pick your own way up. But the last few times I've come there's a definite trail which makes it a lot easier. So effectively where that stay on this, I think it goes all the way along. I've walked it before. It brings you out to the Pennine way, so if you just follow that over, and it pretty much brings you straight to the debris pool. As said previously, if you do ever visit these sites, take only photos or leave only footprints. Leave all the debris in place. So yeah, 500 metres drops us back to the Pennine way, and then if you go left at that point, it'll curl around about a mile, brings you up to Clough Head. We're going to turn right onto Torside Clough, which is there, goes all the way up, so take me all the way around on the Pennine way, around the top of that hill there. About 100 metres to Pennine way, grouse butt. We've just come off that path there to the Blenheim, 552 metres away. We're now intersected the Pennine way, so that way, if you're coming from Clough Head, you come along, keep the clough on your left hand side when it starts to develop, and then along these pavers. When you get to the end of the pavers, look to your right and you'll see a path what goes over there. Just over there you'll see a grouse butt. Go to the grouse butt, and then the path's quite distinct all the way over 500 metres to the Blenheim. So that's from Clough Head. Also when you get here, you can see the T-junction at the end of the clough, so that's Torside Clough where it cuts over. So when you sort of start to see that, that's also when you want to be looking to your right for a path, or if you're coming up from Torside, come up this rough cobble until you get to the pavers, and then obviously left. So that's that. So now Pennine way, all the way back and along Torside, all the way back. More water flowing down that one. So now people seen 5, about 4 sheep, 1 mountain hare, and that's about your lot really. Along this trail here, which carries on along the top, and then we get a very steep descent, goes down there towards that farm, and then it cuts round left of that, and then just this side of them pylons at reservoir is the Trans-Pennine Trail. So walk along there about a mile to get back to the car. Coming to the end of Torside Clough, and it starts drop, and onto that trail all the way back through that woods there to the car. Ooh, beehives. So I don't want to walk into them. Now intersected the Longdendale trail, also the Trans-Pennine Trail, basically the same thing. 300 metres to go, and we're back at the car. So that's where I've just come across the top of Torside Clough and then down that descent, and now stay on this trail for about the last kilometre. So that closes the loop. There we was back. 6.62 miles, 4 hours 51 minutes. 10.9 kilometres, 4 hours 54 minutes.